Good evening. Welcome to Shambhavi Spectrum Insights from Freelancers series. I have here Sourabh Goyal, who's not just a freelancer himself, but he has created many freelancers. The founder of Goalchy community, Success Brew. Today, Saurabh is going to share with us some insights and take us through the journey of his success. Thank you for being here, Saurabh. I know you have a very busy schedule all the time. And being a mentee of yours, I know how busy you are. How are you doing today?
So much for having me here. I'm doing really good. How are you?
Good, great. And I look forward to seeing you in Dubai sometime very soon.
Very soon, maybe April, May.
Wonderful. We'll look forward to that. So, though I am aware of your personal journey, I would like my audience, budding entrepreneurs, budding freelancers, and some students to get inspired by your journey. So, please share with me one is how did you start your journey? And second, the amazing book that you created and the record which you created. Please start from there.
I started as a mechanical engineer back in 2011. So that time it was all about, okay, you have done engineering and now you get a job. But yes, I was passionate about engineering. I was passionate about mechanical design, automobiles. I am still passionate about that. But the way corporate works, I have never seen that. And I entered into engineering in 2007, and 2008 was a great recession, and it never picked up. The industry was not the same anymore for good. So when we went out in 2011, the industry was not same, the jobs were not same. Fortunately, I did some add-on courses on my degree, because of it I got a job, and it was a design job actually. So I started as a fabricator, then machine design, machine learning, into mechanical part. That's very different from the machine learning that we talk today. That's very different. So it was about mechanical machines, coding, and CNC machines and all. So in short, those are loha kaatne mein gaye, right? So that was all about 2 years. But yes, learned a lot because I was working with very senior people in the industry. I got good hypes there also, in terms of learning, not in terms of money. Money was less, but learning was a lot. And the biggest learning was of 2 years was, this is something I don't want for the rest of my life, right? So I moved out. I started learning sales and marketing, and I tested it in a BPO first. So I left mechanical industry, ventured into a BPO, learned the calling part, like, how do you call 200 people in a day? How do you receive so many rejections with humility without getting angry and all? Learn the soft skill part, right? So I always suggest people to have that experience of a BPO sector. You will learn a lot, right? So those kind of jobs are very undermined, underrated, but they are very valuable to understand how people behave with the lowest possible person in the sales journey, right? Okay. हम सब सेल्समैन तो हैं, बट वो एक ऐसा पार्ट है जहाँ पे आपको पता है फोन उठाया तो कुछ बेचने के लिए आया है. And if that person is talking to you good, it's a different personality altogether, so you learn a lot. Next 6 years went into hardcore sales and marketing, commission based sales, lifestyle products, holidays, watches, this and that, a lot of stuff. And that made me travel a lot, meet a lot of great people, because I always say that as a salesman you may be small, but if you're selling a big product to bigger people, your network will be better, always. So that's why I love this industry of sales and marketing hardcore, because you are the one who's the front face of your company and dealing with the end user. So you know the best what they want, and what makes them angry, what makes them happy, what annoys them, what irritates them, is the customer service is good or not good, right? Everything you get to know. And then I took a break around 2017, mid to 2018. I learned a lot. I went on Mind Valley YouTube channel, was like 300 GB worth of content in a month, right? Got a lot of spiritual guidance, because life was kind of stuck. Everything was just moving on. It was kind of stuck. So I wanted a different path now, and somebody suggested, why not go into coaching and consulting? So from there, I started this small workshop called Goal Setting and Strategic Planning. Started talking about it on LinkedIn, and within 2.5 years, we did like 32 batches across 10 countries. Created the entire Goalchy Club community only for participants initially, and then I opened it for everybody. In the process, somebody told me, oh, you are an influencer, you have now 40,000 followers. I said, okay, great. मुझे पता भी नहीं था ऐसा कुछ होता है. And then one day somebody came and he said, okay, can you post for us? I said, why not? And I did that. I did it as a friend, and a week later they're coming to me with, okay, send me your bank details, I'll send you some money for that. अच्छा, okay, इसका भी पैसा मिलता है. Okay, that's great, that's cool, right? So I said, ये तो मेहनत भी नहीं लगी, content तुमने बना के दिया था, I posted it, you're paying me for that. I said, okay. So then I got to know entire about influencer marketing as a technique and all. So I was never into digital marketing part. So from there we connected with all the marketing community and Rohan Chaube and Parul Agarwal, and then they invited me for this book to write a chapter about the mindset and how do you bring that focus and plan your day, all that stuff. Because that is something, the first thing I learned in my mechanical industry, that was called project planning and control. So a lot of people might say कि future हमारे control में नहीं है, but I think 98% is in our control. 2% unpredictable situations are always there. And if you are a person who can be mindful about what decision to take right now, how to pivot, right? It will still be in your control of how your day or your month or your quarter will go, right?
I, I'm very glad you brought up your project planning and mechanical, because on and off I keep hearing this, that all the education which you have, your academic background is just a waste, you don't learn anything, and you should just go out there and become another superstar. And being an academician, hamari roti ka kya hoga bhai? And we put in so much efforts into it. So how can one really say that? So I'm glad you brought that up, Saurabh. And
So उसमें ना उसके
education never goes waste, very
सो उसके
honestly.
दो एस्पेक्ट है. सो आई से इट इज नॉट अबाउट कि वो एजुकेशन है और बाकी नहीं है. सो यहाँ पे ना मैं डिस्टिंक्शन क्रिएट करना चाहूंगा. एक एजुकेशन के ना पार्ट्स हैं. ओके, what you learn in school, college, it is also a piece of education. It is not 100% education. So maybe that's a theoretical education. You need to practically use it, okay, so that it becomes experiential education now. So with theory comes your practice. That's why we always say doctors practice medicine. No doctor is see कभी किसी डॉक्टर को बोला लिखे हुए कि I'm an expert in that area. No doctor writes that. It may be Dr. Trehan. They say I practice medicine. They practice because every patient is different. The only thing is that over a period of years, they have came across different set of experiments, different examples, different type of bodies and patients. Now, if I go to them, they will exactly know which type of body is he, and they will give me an exact medicine. That's the only difference, right? So that's theoretical part of education. This is practice part of education. Then comes your spiritual education and social education, right? Today we can add the mental education as a part also, because mental health is going for a toss big time, right? Not because of people have weak mindsets, but they don't even understand this all about. What is it all about, right? Major part is there. So I think nothing goes waste in life, nothing. You need to understand how are you using it. So I picked up something from mechanical industry. I said process planning control अगर industry में काम कर रहा है तो मेरी individual life में काम क्यों नहीं करेगा? It's a technique, right? It's a simple technique, right? And companies like Toyota have built their entire things on that.
Right.
Six Sigma, process planning control, Kaizen, that means consistent improvement, right? 5S is a Japanese technique, but it talk about organized living. How organized are you, right? Everything works,
Right.
right? So today the same thing is taught by a lot of productivity coaches,
Hmm.
right? Okay. So like now you want to pay extra money to a productivity coach, you are free to do that. But if you have done engineering, you learned it in your books
Yes.
already, right? It's
Hmm.
about you never focus there कि अच्छा यहाँ पे कुछ अच्छा भी है. And I always say the content and the way you produce content are two different things. So
Okay.
उन बुक्स में कंटेंट है, बट समवेयर वो ये नहीं बताएगा कि लाइफ में कैसे यूज होगा प्रैक्टिकली.
Hmm. Okay.
थोड़ा सा गैप भी है, बट इट इज नॉट 100% वेस्ट.
So
सो
you're a
दैट
person, yeah, you're a person who's always been giving to the community, and that's how you created the community. I've heard
यस.
so many LinkedIn lives and so many workshop of yours where you are always about giving. Do you think there is a time when one should stop, or you know, it's always it comes back in good format only for you? How has your experience
So
been as a
so
working professional and as a freelancer?
so what happens is people always think कि मैंने ना शाम भवी को दिया है, सो मुझे यहीं से वापस लेना,
Hmm.
right? but this is not how the universe works,
Okay.
right? I have like every day I listen these kind of यार मैंने उसके लिए इतना किया उसने मेरे लिए कुछ नहीं किया.
Hmm.
I say understand this one thing. If there are two nodes, okay, let's say there's a tap and there's a bucket.
Hmm.
The tap has a capacity to give to the bucket. The bucket doesn't have a capacity to give back, right?
Okay.
So if you are giving to someone, you have a capacity to give. But then you need to find out someone else who has a capacity to give you something. So
Okay.
that's called a channel.
Hmm.
How do you receive information and you have a flow of information, right? So I learned this part when I reached out to my mentor after 7 years, and I was like, how can I give you back? She was like, Saurabh, you can't give me back, but I want to take a promise from you that will you will give to maybe millions of others, right? That
And
that
you're
will be
doing that. And you're doing that. I
yes.
think we've reached a stage where, when you think of it in these terms, Saurabh, it's like you're at peace with yourself.
Yes,
You know,
100%.
otherwise, in your mind, there's always a little bit of unease and trouble. So I think you've given a very good analogy of the tap and the bucket, and thank you for that. Tell me more about the Goalchy community and why the name the Goalchy. Tell me that.
So basically, when I went on LinkedIn, I started being active during the mid of 2018. Not very active, but started interacting with people, and they used to read my bio and they used to say कि industry कैसे change किया, mechanical में थे, sales and marketing में कैसे आए. So I always used to tell them, yeah, it is not about industry for me. I am not born and brought up for a specific industry, right? Industry became part of life because मैंने 4 साल मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ा. Okay, I can read anything anytime without a certificate or a degree and build my career into that. It is as simple as that, right? So what I was doing, I was chasing my goals. I was not chasing an industry कि मेरे को इस इंडस्ट्री में कुछ बनना है, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, right? And I change my industry like I think every 2 years. I keep experimenting, right? So it was just about goal setting and all. तो उसी से गोलची आ गया. It was nothing much. So the गोलची club community बना दिया and all. That time I also personally never had any knowledge about कि branding क्या करना है, कुछ भी करना. So we had a temporary logo. आज भी वही लोगो काम कर रहा है वहाँ पे, right? So now we are thinking of to create a niche in the community, to rebrand it. Everything we are thinking now, right? These 3 years was all about talking to people and understanding what they need, right? And I think this is the groundwork that a lot of people don't do.
Okay. So, from your call center days, your BPO days, salesmanship, humility was your takeaway from there, correct? And I know you did, I think, pyramid marketing. Were you into that at some point where you were
It is
doing
not
referral
pyramid,
marketing,
it was direct selling.
direct selling? What was your takeaway from there, which you are still following and continuing, and which you shared with others also?
So I think community building is part that came from there itself, right? Okay, building a network, okay, and building a network where you are giving to people and you never stop learning as well, right? So one of the things that is most amazing about that industry is people who have already, like for example, so that industry works exactly like a Indian any army, I would say, right? Okay, people who have fought wars, the veterans, they will only come back and teach the new cadets. It's not only theory.
Right.
So teachers who are
You've been
teaching in the
there.
army schools or the to really make them warriors are people who have what 10, 15 wars, won them, brigadier generals and all, right? So direct selling or network marketing industry works like that. There is no formal education for that industry till date. Okay, the industry is not normalized till date. Okay, but I think one of the finest industries to work in if you want to learn sales, communication, leadership, community building. How do you work with different set of people? Because maybe you are a technical engineer, you become a leader, you will only be working with engineers. बट इन दैट इंडस्ट्री यू वर्क विद लॉयर्स, डॉक्टर्स. आपको नहीं पता कौन किस इंडस्ट्री से उठ के आ रहा है, किसका बैकग्राउंड क्या है, किस माइंडसेट से आ रहा है, किस कल्चर से आ रहा है. एवरीबडी इज वेलकम इन दैट इंडस्ट्री, right? Okay, it's an open ended industry, right? Okay, and that's where it opens up your mind. It frustrates you initially a lot because for me it was like in a mechanical industry or in a machine, you program it, the machine will work in a particular way. Humans, they listen something else, they process something else, they think something else, they do something else. As a leader, aligning these four things is very difficult. And I think ये 11 साल में अभी तक मैंने सिर्फ ये सीखा है that if I talk to someone how I can align these four things, जो मैंने बोला वो वैसा ही सुने, वैसा ही प्रोसेस करे और वैसा ही कुछ काम करे, right?
So, right. So, talking about as a freelancer, what do you think a day for, especially for people who are thinking about starting? I know the money is less, they have to work more, and those are some things, challenges which we read about all the time. But what do you
Right.
think a typical day for a freelancer should look like, and what should be the factors which help them continue their passion?
I think the biggest mistake people are making in the freelancing industry is that they don't have an experience. Like if I talk about anybody who's in the age of, let's say, 19, 20, 22 somewhere, जिन्होंने college के बीच में start किया, okay? Some of them grew because they were good at one thing, right? Okay. They had some sort of a family backing because of they had a personality, right? They could sell their services well, they could create a package, they learned the tech, and yes, these people have a great learning kida, I would say. They learn things fast, right? Okay. But a lot of people who start at same age, they see these people and then they are like losing their mental health every day. यार उसका वो तो 6 फिगर कमा रहा है, वो 21 साल का, ये मैं नहीं कमा पा रहा, मैं तो 24 साल का हो गया, right? For those people, I have a very straightforward answer. You are not worth it right now, like that people should pay you money. You don't have that level of skill set right now, right? But it takes only 6 months to build that skill set, okay? Second thing, industries are changing, right? So let's say if today is a time where content writers are making a lot of money, I would say people who have great content writing skills, okay? And all these people with great content writing skills, they have understood a particular industry very well. So if somebody is a SaaS content writer, they have went into depth of SaaS, right? I have seen freelancers who when they are researching for content, they don't only research on Google, they reach out to people like me, they interview us many times, right? That I want to know about your industry, I want to know about, let's say, direct selling industry or a D2C industry. How does the entire supply chain from the mechanical industry works, right? So to write a 3000 word article, they take 15 interviews like that and then they jot down the points. That's called real passionate madness of work. And if you write an article like that, you can get paid 15, 20,000 or 25,000 for that kind of article. बट अगर आप गूगल से कॉपी पेस्ट करके लिखने वाले हो या फिर आप किसी किसी कंटेंट बेस्ड टूल पे जाके वहां से कंटेंट निकालने वाले हो, देन यू फॉरगेट अर्निंग दैट काइंड ऑफ मनी. आप मेहनत नहीं कर रहे हो, राइट? सो हमको ये डिफरेंस समझना है कि अगर मैं पैसा कमाना चाहता हूं तो उसके लिए मुझे पहले वैल्यूएबल बनना पड़ेगा. मैं जितना वैल्यू मार्केट में दूंगा उतना ही पैसा वापस आएगा, और जितनी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करूंगा उतना ज्यादा पैसा कोई देगा. एज का फैक्टर नहीं है. यस, बच्चों के जैसे बात करोगे तो ऑब्वियसली समबडी विल ट्रीट यू लाइक अ किड, नो प्रॉब्लम इन दैट एरिया, दैट विल हैपन. एंड इसमें उसकी भी कोई गलती नहीं और आपकी भी कोई गलती नहीं. इफ यू टॉक लाइक अ इमेच्योर्ड पर्सन, पीपल विल एक्सप्लॉइट यू. सिंपल सीधी सी बात है. जो जिसके साथ नेगोशिएट कर सकते हो आप करोगे, राइट और नॉट? इट इज अबाउट
Right.
यू और मी
Yes.
ऑल्सो. अगर मुझे पता लग जाएगा कि इसके साथ मैं नेगोशिएट कर सकता हूँ,
Correct.
राइट, मैं करूंगा,
Yes.
बिकॉज दैट्स माय स्किल, right?
Correct.
So you bring in
So,
your skill to better negotiate with me. It's a negotiation game playing on there. आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि किसी ने मुझे एक्सप्लॉइट किया. और मैं ये बोलता हूँ हमेशा कि अगर आपको किसी ने एक्सप्लॉइट किया ना, तो आप एक्सप्लॉइट करने लायक हो.
you gave them the opportunity to do that
You
to
give
you.
them the opportunity, because अगर आप एक वॉर में जाओगे बिना कवच और तलवार लिए,
Hmm.
डेथ इज द ओनली थिंग यू आर गोइंग टू फेस. यू कौन सी, अरे मुझे मार दिया, मेरे पास तो तलवार नहीं थी. किसकी गलती है?
Correct. Right.
He's the opponent, right?
Yes, yes, very true. And so when you're looking at these industries and looking at specific changes, a lot of research has to go in. And there is a trend now of content writers, like you rightly said, everybody is writing content in it. So where do you think this is going for a good freelancer who's doing good content, is educated, doing all their work properly, researching? What do you think they should be upskilling themselves on to be still relevant valid after 5 years, 10 years? What do you think they should be doing?
I think see, freelancing is a good to start thing, right? But it's a long term trap. Okay, I'll tell you why. A lot of people talk about freelancing and freedom, being my own boss, right? Okay, let me tell you the reality. जब आप जॉब में हो ना, आपके पास एक बॉस होता है.
Hmm.
जब आप एक फ्रीलांसर हो तो हर क्लाइंट आपका बॉस होता है, right?
Huh.
So if you are not ready to take pressure from five people every day, then you are not ready to be a freelancer, right?
Right.
Or you are a charming person like me who can tame everybody. जहाँ पे उल्टा चलता है, जहाँ पे फ्राइडे को रिव्यू कस्टमर नहीं मांग रहा होता, सौरभ मांग रहा होता है, बताओ क्या हुआ. आई
Hmm.
सेंड यू ईमेल, आपसे डाटा चाहिए था, आपने भेजा नहीं अभी तक,
Correct.
राइट. आई सी अ लॉट ऑफ फ्रीलांसर्स, मतलब वो मंडे के लिए ऐसे रो रहे होते हैं कि मंडे आ गया फिर से.
Hmm.
क्यों? अभी रिव्यूज देने हैं क्लाइंट को, या वहां से कुछ ब्रीफ आएगा, आगे काम करना है. मैं वो सब फ्राइडे थर्सडे खत्म कर लेता हूँ, so that my
So,
Monday is chilled out, right? I stopped doing calls on Monday because Monday is a day that should be a happy starting of the day. I should be doing something very exciting, right? So Monday को मैं
correct.
invoices काट के भेजता हूँ खाली.
What can make you more happy?
What can make you more happy, right? So I say begin as a freelancer, not a problem. Scale it up fast, 6 months. Stack your skills. Content writer हो, content marketing सीखो, copywriting सीखो, digital growth सीखो, टूल्स के बारे में समझो. ओके, जिस इंडस्ट्री के साथ काम करो उस इंडस्ट्री का ओवरऑल बिजनेस साइकिल समझो, राइट. ओके, हाउ डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाइल यू आर टॉकिंग टू क्लाइंट. चार सवाल एक्स्ट्रा पूछने से आपको क्लाइंट मना नहीं करेगा, ही विल गिव यू सम इंफॉर्मेशन, right? Okay, so even with, let's say, sometime with prospects, right? Okay, I want to understand कि इसके साथ मैं कितना लंबा काम कर सकता हूँ. I end up asking question, आपने फंडिंग उठाया क्या अभी तक, या
Hmm.
कब का प्लानिंग है, right? Lot of people don't respond, but a lot of them do. They tell me कि उनके बैंक में कितना पैसा है, right? And
And I
that
think,
gives
yeah, sorry to interrupt. And I think those who haven't thought about it, they maybe start thinking that when do we need to get the money to get on to the
yeah,
next
exactly.
phase?
बिकॉज सीधी सी बात है ना, वो मुझे बोलेंगे सौरभ आप ये काम कर दो मेरे लिए, राइट. मैं उसको बोलूंगा अच्छा ये काम करने के बाद नेक्स्ट वो करना पड़ेगा, नेक्स्ट वो करना पड़ेगा. मैं उसको चार चीजें बताता हूँ, राइट. सो उसको भी एक पूरा प्लान समझ में आता है कि हाँ यार खाली एक से काम नहीं चलेगा, मुझे भी चार चीजें करनी पड़ेगी, राइट. सो सोचो किसी के पास 20 रुपए हैं और वो सब्जी ले आया, मैंने उसको सब्जी दे दी, उसको काटना भी तो है, बनाना भी तो है. तुम्हारे पास सीएनजी है, तुम्हारे पास एलपीजी है क्या, स्टोव है क्या, ऑयल है क्या, मसाले हैं क्या. आई नीड टू चेक दैट, क्योंकि अगर मैंने खाली सब्जी दे दी और उसके पास बाकी सब कुछ नहीं हो गया, यार ये सब्जी बर्बाद हो गई, हिल का मैंने अब्यूज मी.
So the most commonly used word nowadays is roadmap. So you are
Road,
actually working on the roadmap of your
exactly.
client and pushing them to think about it, right?
Yes.
And they know then that you're part of it. You
So
want to
the
be a part of
freelancers who are making a lot of money are strategists more than just freelancers or content creators. They know the strategy, they know the roadmap, they know the cycle, राइट. एंड जब तक आपको वो साइकिल का वैल्यू नहीं समझ में आएगा, आपको अपना कितना पैसा मांगना है, आपको उसका वैल्यू भी समझ नहीं आएगा.
it.
दैट्स व्हाई पीपल एंड अप चार्जिंग 75 पैसा पर वर्ड.
Right.
बिकॉज उनके लिए क्या है ना, वो आलू बेचने वाले लोग हैं, वो खाली आलू बेचते हैं, उसके बाद कहते हैं वो सड़ जाएगा, खराब हो जाएगा, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. फॉर मी इट इज नॉट अबाउट आलू, फॉर मी इट्स अबाउट मेरे कंटेंट का लॉन्ग टर्म वैल्यू क्या है क्लाइंट के लिए. अगर वो वैल्यू नहीं जा रहा ना तो मैं इसको आज कंटेंट दूंगा ही. द एंड ऑफ टॉपिक. People come for brand strategy, let's say. I ask them, do you have an execution team? If you don't have execution team, don't waste your time with me. Simple.
Right. So is it because you have reached a certain level that you're able to be cut and dried with them and tell them कि ये रास्ता है, it's my way or highway, या आप हमेशा पहले से ऐसे ही थे, मतलब clear in your thought कि
It is
मुझे ऐसे लोगों के साथ काम करना है?
it is not about my way or highway, but it is about making them understand the cycle that मेरे आधे काम करने से आपको फायदा नहीं होगा, आपका नुकसान होगा. It is about making them aware. And I think as a freelancer, as a person who teach consultative sales, okay, मेरे साथ क्या था ना, मेरे साथ शुरू से ऐसा मेरे साथ था. इट इज अबाउट पर्सनली मी. समबडी से सौरभ अच्छा इतना सा काम करके दे दो, तो मैं उससे पूछता था अच्छा ये करने के बाद आगे क्या होगा. मुझे आदत थी रोड मैप समझने की, व्हेन इवन आई वाज इन जॉब. सो उस टाइम पे हमारे बॉसेस बोलते थे कि तुझे रोड मैप की जरूरत नहीं है, यू हैव अ स्मॉल पार्ट. मैंने कहा ठीक है, मुझे रोड मैप की जरूरत नहीं है, बट अगर मुझे रोड मैप पता होगा ना, आई विल बी एबल टू डू इट बेटर.
Okay.
सो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम अ पर्सन ऑफ रोड मैप बिल्डिंग, प्रोसेस प्लानिंग कंट्रोल. मुझे तो वो पूरा समझ नहीं आएगा, प्रोसेस और प्लानिंग नहीं हुआ, कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाओगे. दैट्स द थिंग.
द थिंग अबाउट यू सौरभ इज माई वे हाईवे में आप क्लाइंट को साथ लेके चल रहे हो. इट इज
यस.
आर वे. है ना, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि यू आर लुकिंग एट योर ओनली एट योर what is your achievement or
Yes.
what whether it is serving your purpose. It is client is with you in that.
Yes.
So that highway is a good highway to be on
It's a
for
good
the
highway to
client
be on.
also. गाड़ी अच्छी जाएगी वहां पे. जब रास्ता भी अच्छा है तो देन डेफिनेटली गाड़ी भी अच्छी जाएगी.
Correct.
मुझे पता है कि आप बहुत सारी रीडिंग करते हो, और मुझे कुछ बताएं आप व्हाट आर यू रीडिंग राइट नाउ, एंड व्हाट डू यू थिंक and freelancers right now should be reading, which could be connected to work, or any other kind of book which is good to be or good to refer back to always when you're in your high or your low moods.
So I think there are two, three books that freelancers must read right now. Is one is How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Okay. Seven Ways of Public Speaking, again by Dale Carnegie. Okay. And don't read these books. Do not just read these books. Try to practice these books. Read only one page a day and practice what is written in that one page. And do not get into that frenzy or a FOMO कि मेरे को ना 50 books पढ़नी है साल की. That is a waste of time. Okay, because somebody came and told us that average CEO reads 50 books a year. Okay, now let me tell you
Yeah.
who these people are. Okay, this is a company called Mentor Box. They're selling books.
Okay, I found this on the web for the selling
Right.
books.
So they are selling books. उनको books बेचने हैं. Right. Okay, so they created a great FOMO कि एक CEO बेचता है. अब सबको
Yes.
CEO बनना है. Everybody has that thing. But understand, a CEO became a CEO in 20-25 years.
Yes.
He has that
Yes.
capacity that he can read and implement at the same time, or he can read a 300-page book in a week, pick up one thing from that book and implement.
Yeah.
As a 20
And
year
his
old,
work is only that. His main
he's
work is
working
that.
only that, exactly, right? And a lot of CEOs only scan books. They don't read entire book.
Mm.
They scan through index. They pick up 2-3 chapters. Even in the chapters, they pick up 2-3 segments. कि, okay, this is what I like. Or they never read it like a theory कि मेरे को पूरा किताब पढ़ना है. A lot of people also come to me and say मेरे को किताब तो पढ़ा था, मेरे को याद नहीं रहता.
Mm.
I said, this is not your education or school book जो यट्टा मार के एग्जाम देना है. This is not that. So that is book. I think read Priya Kumar books. Like those are fictional books, but real life education. I would say that's a lot of experiential education. So हो क्या रहा है? There are two segments here of learning. One is about skill. Content writing क्या है? Marketing क्या है? Sales क्या है? इस पे बहुत लोगों का फोकस है. Okay. लेकिन जो ह्यूमन स्किल्स हैं, स्पिरिचुअल स्किल्स हैं, पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट है, वहां पे लोगों का फोकस नहीं है, बिकॉज वो सब चीजें इंटेंजिबल है. राइट. यू ट्राई टू सेल अ कोर्स एंड उसका हेडिंग हो हाउ टू मेक 6 figures, पीपल स्टार्ट बाइंग दैट. राइट. ओके. बट इफ यू try to sell a course with a heading how to build new 6 habits in next 6 months, the number will drop to 10%. Right. But if you really build 6 good habits in 6 months, you will end up making maybe 7 figures a month. That is something people don't relate to.
Right.
Right.
So,
So
hello.
so
Yeah.
that is a part that you have to mix the books, spiritual part, self-help, and technical. And as Dale Carnegie says very beautifully in his books, only 15% is the technical knowledge that will make you financially rich. 85% is all about human skills.
Right. I was smiling when you said Dale Carnegie, because maybe when I was 8 or 10 years old, this was a book, How to Stop Worrying, Start Living, which my father came across. And then you realize that, he used to speak about it, How to Win Friends. He told us to read this. And this is still, so these are things which never change.
Yes.
Things, some things which never change, and this is one of the books, and I'm so glad that that was one of the books which you've picked up for sharing with the audience. Tell me one thing. People keep following, especially freelancers, are how many likes did I get, how many sh- what do you think you could tell them so that they stop focusing on that?
I think focus on that, but keep your intentions different. Okay, it is not about having a frenzy of followers or likes. Or see that engagement metrics matters today. That's okay. Okay, but अभी अभी आज ही मैं अपनी टीम से ही ये बात बोल रहा था because they come to me every day. अच्छा आज का carousel अच्छा नहीं जा रहा. Right, today's post is not doing well. I said it is not about today. Check a metrics of 3 months.
Mm,
How are we doing? Right?
yes,
So I never checked my analytics for 3 years on LinkedIn, like any Shield app or something like that. Everybody checks it, right? ऐसा होता है वैसा होता है. So after 3 years, I now checked and I found out in 3 years, my total content has 1 crore plus views.
wow.
Total content, right? How much content I wrote? 1600 posts in 1082 days, right? Okay.
Yep.
So I never went viral. None of my posts ever got 1,000 plus likes or something like that, that people get a lot of times, right? But somebody's posting like I got a job in KPMG or ENY, they get 5,000, 10,000 likes. It's of no
Yes.
use.
Yes, it's of no use. Yes. What's
One
the
click,
value of that?
right? Okay. So for me, it is about consistency, and consistency is like growing a plant. So think of it like a mango tree, right? Mango tree gives you first fruit after 7 years. But after that, you need not grow it again. It keeps giving you every year, right? So
Yes.
that's called brand building. So think of brand building, not likes or comments building.
Right.
Think in terms of a big, see, that's what I'm saying. Today's people, the young generation has never seen the bigger picture. They want everything today. आज
So,
क्या हो रहा है,
yeah. So,
right?
one more
But
question on the young generation I want to ask you. Before, earlier in college, people used to do internship. That was not in my generation. My generation, you finished education, then you went to work. Summer holidays, you enjoyed, you read books, you traveled. Then came the next generation, which started working in college. And now in school, people are desperately searching for internships. Parents are desperately searching for internships. What is, don't you think they will get saturated, or what are they seeking actually? Is this a right path to follow? Am I the one who should be looking over this again to understand that this is how it is going to be?
I think everything has a time. Okay, starting early is good, no problem in that. But it should see again. It's everything about intention. मेरा intention क्या है? Am I doing an internship just to tell 10 people that oh I'm a 11th class student and I do 2 internships? Are you trying to look good in front of society or somebody else, or are you really doing an internship to learn? Right, if and I suggest like if you are a 10th 11th and 12th class student, okay, the best internships you will do is with non-profit organizations.
Mm,
Don't go to corporate world, go to non-profit organizations, because that is where you will learn to work without money,
true.
right? Because if in those days you get that habit of making money, आपका हर अलग जगह से फोकस हट जाएगा, फिर आप पैसे के पीछे भागने लगोगे बहुत जल्दी लाइफ में.
Mm,
ऐसे जिसको जरूरत है वो करे भी, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, पैसा भी कमाए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बट सी यू नो everything in everybody's life has a time cycle. For example, if I want to become a millionaire or a billionaire, I have to become a person who can manage that kind of wealth,
yes.
right? It is not about strategy of making $1 million. It is about me becoming a person who can manage $1 billion.
Mm,
Correct or not?
absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So a lot of times this happens that I always feel कि जिस दिन मैं deserving होऊंगा ना वो चीज मेरे पास आ जाएगी.
Ajay.
Keep working patiently, right? But today what is happening, everybody, oh, how to make 6 figures, how to make 50,000 a month, right? They have all the skills, they have all the skills to make much more money than I do, right? But they don't have one skill, that's about how to build a human relationship, right? So
Yes.
today I could build a human relationship with you, I can build the same human relationship with a 5-year old,
Right.
Both works for me,
Mm.
right? Okay. So this is the real fight to win. Can you be with coexist with different sort of people, and how you can add value to them? Simple. अगर initial 25 की एज तक ये सीख लिया ना, you are done.
Very valid point, and very something which requires thinking and which one should think on again and again. It's been
Yes.
a great session, Saurabh. I'm so grateful you spent so much time. I know on a busy evening.
No
Is
worries.
there some
Always be there.
mantra? Is there some mantra that you live by and which you would like to pass on to the audience who's listening to this?
I say it's one life, right? Okay. Live it wholeheartedly, live it full, do as many experiments as you can at a right time, right? Okay. So, until unless you are like 25, 26, 30, when you have parents taking care of the family and you don't have that burden of responsibilities, do as many experiments as you want to, but still have one consistent source of income so that you are not hurt when your experiment goes bad, because experiments can go bad also, right? Okay. And in these entire years you will need to just find one right experiment that will go big for you. So I think live it, don't stress it, live it.
As always, it's such a pleasure to hear from you and talk to you and to learn from you. I will be sharing the description of your profile and your book, etc., in the description. And I hope that people learn more from you and you build a bigger, better community, all of them achieving their goals. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for being
Thank you
here.
so much, thank you so much for
Bye.
having me.
Bye. For now, don't go away. I'll just say bye now here.